Hey everyone, Channel X, WashingtonXJ, doing a takedown video of the C93 Sporter. Before I have to return it, I figured I may as well get one more video out of this gun. There's a lot of people out there who kind of don't really know a lot about this weapon in terms of its actual takedown itself. Can move the camera here. Hopefully you guys can get a pretty good view of this weapon when I'm taking it down. I'm going to try to stay out of the way too much. We got stuff all over the place here. I've actually, for those of you who don't really know much about me, I recently returned to college. College student now, full time. Decided to move back home. I'm actually a commercial flight instructor, and I used to teach people how to fly in the Phoenix area. So you might notice some of the flying videos on my channel. Actually, there's only one right now, but I'm going to put some more up later of some stuff we did in Phoenix. But that's just a little background on who I am, but you know, I've always been interested in guns and cars and whatnot, so all that technical stuff. Anyway, so the only tools you're going to need for this rifle takedown, really, tool. It's going to be industrial punch, and you don't even really need this if you can figure out another way to get it apart. But anyway, let's go ahead and do a safety check. We are not on safety, but that's all right. We're going to go ahead and take the mag out. Mag is empty. And make sure the chamber is empty as well. Chamber's empty and dirty as hell. Actually, that's just grease. Go ahead and slap it for now. Fire it home. And I'm going to go ahead and leave the hammer cocked. That's fine. Okay, so the only two bolts you have to worry about, there's one back here on the back of the stock, and one up here on the front of the barrel, basically, or midway through the barrel, but on the front, right behind that sight. So the best way to get started on this, let me make sure I got a good angle here. There we go. And I'll leave it a little bit zoomed out. Anyway, there is a sort of a locking spring on the back of this pin, and you got to push this in while pushing the pin through, and that'll get it started. And it's being a little bitch right now, but usually you can do it with your thumb. There we go. Okay. And then use your punch through that pin, pins out, and basically from here, that pin is what held the gun together. The whole thing will fall apart from here. This buttstock, some people say it's a little stiff to get off. Comes right off on this one. And then these holes in the butt, you want to use them to kind of store your pins so you don't lose them. That's the intention of that. Next part coming out is going to be the lower portion of the receiver, basically your trigger assembly, your grip, and your trigger itself, obviously. Hammer's back on it right now. What you're left with is the upper portion of the receiver, the barrel, the sights. You want to take your charging handle. This part gets a little tricky. Sometimes it just slides right back, and sometimes it gets all stuck like that. That time it got all stuck. So it did it for me, but what it actually did is it ejected the bolt with the recoil spring in it. That actually just sits in there like this. You're supposed to be able to just move it back nice and gentle, but it got kind of hung up. You take the recoil spring, you pull out the bolt assembly with that, and recoil spring comes right out of the bolt assembly. You got your bolt assembly right here. I'm not an expert on these bolts by any means because they're actually pretty complex. In fact, I would say that this gun is not a very good choice for like a field soldier, because if you push this bolt into this bolt carrier, it'll lock, and in order to get it unlocked, the only way I know of to get it unlocked is to push with a punch or something else that's flat. Push down on this portion right here is actually got to be the locking spring. You have to push down on that and then pull out on the bolt simultaneously. It's impossible to do if you're if it's only one guy, or you kind of got to wedge this into something and then pull back on this, and I don't know. It's just really complex bolt design for somebody who's going to be running around with this thing getting it dirty. So I don't really think that's the MO of this gun for practical purposes. But anyway, for those of you who are interested in the bolt gap thing, I don't have feeler gauges with me right now, but how to actually measure bolt gap. you are going to have to depress this bolt into the carrier, and I'm not going to do it because I don't feel like having to wrestle around with that locking spring. But when you do that, it's easy to push it in. All it takes is a few pounds of pressure probably. Push that in, and then what you're actually measuring. Let's see if we can zoom up on this a little bit better. Oops. Okay. I don't know how well you can see this, but what you're actually measuring is the gap between the bolt and the bolt carrier when this bolt is compressed with the carrier itself. And I don't remember off the top of my head what the range is for the millimeters with the feeler gauges, what you are looking for. But I know with this one, it's basically no gap, and I know that's not good. There's a really awesome video put out by, I can't remember his username, but I favorited the video. It's on my profile and on the YouTube account, and I'll throw up a link or something on this video for it. He basically took a chamber of an K93 or C93, or actually it might have been a Setme, but anyway, all their bolt designs are almost identical. And he cut the chamber in half, and he showed the bolt actually going into the chamber with the locking mechanism and how it all works together. And that explains real well why you don't want to have no bolt gap, and it also explains why you don't want to have too much bolt gap. It's easier to watch those videos than to watch me kind of try to, I don't know, wing it, because it's not going to make much sense without a demonstration. But anyway, then what we got left here is the actual, basically the charging handle, the mechanism inside that, the the sight posts, or the front sight, your rear barrel sight or barrel aperture, and then your actual front stock and the barrel itself. So for this, there's another pin right up here with a little spring locking mechanism on there. Pushes right through, pins out, and then this stock will come right off, and there you are. And really, from that point on, I would be a little hesitant to take it apart any further. Obviously, there's a way to get the barrel out of there. There is I don't know if that's a welded screw or not. I can't really tell, man. I'm not even in frame here. This is a horrible video. Now, but this screw right here, I think it'll unscrew, which will detach this upper portion from the barrel. I don't know if the barrel comes right out at that point or not, but for all practical cleaning purposes, you really don't need to go any more, any deeper with the disassembly here. So there you go. I don't think I have enough time to put it all back together on camera, but follow the video backwards and everything goes back together pretty much as easily as it came apart. Like I said, I mean, this is a cool design. It's a fun weapon to use. If you haven't already, check out the C93 review. I just put it up like 2 days ago. I'm pretty sure this is a bad gun. This is like a bad egg or a bad apple, whatever you want to call it, because I was having a lot of problems with it. But if you get one that's an actual working replica of an K93 or a clone, it's a cool design, but I don't think it's very good for a field soldier, because try taking this bolt out of this carrier by yourself. I mean, I'm sure there's a trick to it, but it's not self-explanatory, and these things don't come with manuals either. I didn't get any documentation on how to take this thing apart, which is one of the reasons why I think the videos of these things are pretty scarce online. I found like a Setme Takedown video, and it was, I don't know, I think it was pretty vague too, so I think there's a lot of people out there kind of scratching their heads on this, but anyway, all practical purposes, this is as far as you're going to need to go. Thanks for watching. See ya.